Government approves 27% increase in national service allowance. Also, anti-graft campaigners want special prosecutor to investigate former sanitation minister over the stolen money from her house. Also this morning, residents of North Ahinkofi in the Second D Takrady metropolis grip in fear of invasion of dangerous reptiles, particularly pythons. And on the international front, some 40 countries to join the BRICs group of fast-developing economies led by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Please do stay with us. Now, in our first story, in retribution for alleged police abuse, some enraged youth of Asawase in the Ashanti region stormed the Asawase police station. Now, the irate group claimed that their friend had died as a result of police abuse. On Sunday evening, they marched the police station and threw stones at the officers there. Now, the agitated youth reportedly damaged a number of items at the police station. Calm has, however, been restored after reinforcement from the Ashanti Regional Patrol teams was sent to the Asawase police station. On to some more stories now. National service personnel can now heave a sigh of relief as the scheme has received clearance to increase the monthly allowance from 559 cedis to 715 cedis. The upward adjustment is expected to cushion the personnel who have over the years lamented what they described as an inadequate amount paid them. A report by Christian Yali.
Mandatory service to the nation, but has been fraught with agitations, distress and concerns over the past years. From posting issues to delays in payment of allowances, national service personnel have periodically been disquieted about the hardships they face amid the upsurge in prices of goods and services. That's not all. Having to survive with 559 cedis despite the regular increase in transport fares and high standard of living made it difficult for personnel to barely keep their heads above water. For many activists and stakeholders, the calls for an upward adjustment in the allowance have been long overdue.
It's just a very minute amount when you are considering or when you are gauging with the economy, the current economic hardships.
Tickets that you leave at Spinkters and then you go to work at Tusu. Just calculate your transportation during the month.
I know colleagues of mine that always call me just for even 10 cedis to just survive for the day.
So once we are ready to serve, they should also make sure that they also do what is due diligence to us.
From 559 cedis to 715 cedis, the 27% adjustment could not have come at a better time amid spiraling inflation and a cost of living crisis. NSS persons in active service are entitled to arrears for the difference in the upward adjustment from January 2023. The last upward adjustment in the NSS allowance was in January 2017 when the government approved an increase from 350 cedis to 559 cedis. Christian Yali, TV3 News.
Meanwhile, the acting director of corporate affairs at the National Service Scheme, Ambrose Ntiwa Jr., has been providing further details about increment and payment structure.
The National Service Personnel Association, NASPA, over the years had made some requests, appeals to government through the National Service Scheme and the board to have some upward adjustments. So when the current executive director took over office, he took it upon himself to ensure that this becomes a reality. So he's been working tirelessly, having a series of meetings with Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education, which has oversight responsibility of a national service scheme. And thankfully, finally, we got this approval. Of course, government will have to look at the possibility of taking on the huge sums of money to be paid. This year, we're looking at about 170,000 to 180,000 people to be posted in September. That is huge cost to the state. let's also not forget that whatever we decide on to pay to the service personnel, for those who are going to be posted to the private sector will have to pay same. So if you are not careful and you peg it at a level where they cannot pay, that means they will not take service personnel at all. So it's important that we combine these things and then consider the effects of the amount to be paid. And it will be better to have this one paid than to peg it at a level that you cannot pay. Hopefully, for those who are doing national service now, they will finish their service in October. And the new crop of national service personnel will start from October. So we would also start with them with a new rate of 715.57. We had stated that we're asking them, we're urging them to exercise patience. Now that it's been announced, it's not that we're going to work out. There are a lot of administrative processes that we have to go through. But I can assure you that this will not take too long.
Let's do some stories on education now. And due to poor facilities and inadequate furniture, children in the Sisala East and West districts of the Upper West region struggle to receive quality education. While up to 4 upper primary students cram onto one desk meant for 2, the bulk of kindergarten and lower primary students study sprawled out on the bare floor.
In the Sisala East Municipal and the Sisala West districts, a key barrier to efficient teaching and learning has been recognized as a shortage of furniture and infrastructure. For instance, the Kusali DA Basic School has 540 students but inadequate furniture. The school's head teacher bemoaned the effect on comprehensive education and enrollment.
With the introduction of this standard-based curriculum, our children have textbooks, the other material that are needed to put the children into effective teaching and learning.
Plan International Ghana purchased 1,420 dual desks for 18 schools throughout the 2 districts as part of its phase-out program to solve the issue.
So your community is representing all the 18 other communities when it comes to the furniture. You have 80 pieces of the dual decks to support your education.
Municipal Chief Executive for Sisala East, Fuseni Yakubu Baton, advised parents to strengthen their support for girls' education.
The maintenance culture, let's cultivate it. Then my parents, PTA, SMCs, let's try and make sure that these tables are in the school, not in our homes. They are supposed to be meant for the children to come and sit and learn. Also support your children, especially the girl child. Try as much as possible to provide their needs for them to be able to stay in school and contribute their quota to Mother Ghana.
In all, 55 communities benefited from the phase-out measures in the Sisala enclave.
Away from education, on Saturday, July 22, the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Benadapa, announced her resignation as a Minister of State. Her resignation followed a legal proceeding in which 2 of her housekeepers are accused of stealing $1 million, 300,000 euros, and undisclosed millions of cedis from her Ablekuma home. Later, President Akufo-Addo accepted her resignation and sent her his best wishes. Her resignation and the president's response have drawn differing responses, however. Now, some anti-corruption activists have praised her for choosing to step aside, given the seriousness of the matter at hand. I'll bring you more details on that story in a subsequent bulletin. But moving on, as Parliament struggles for 13 years to pass the Affirmative Action Bill, pressure is beginning to mount from some female MPs in the 8th Parliament to pass the bill as a matter of urgency. But Parliamentary Watch NGO, Parliamentary Network Africa, at a gender capacity building event, doubts the 8th Parliament will have the bill passed.
Looking forward to this bill being passed, I wish I could pick it alone to have it passed. You see, nobody is asking men to move over so we women can sit. That's not what we're asking. We're just saying that everybody born of a woman knows that they cherish their mothers. Why is it when it comes to having us around the decision table, then you think we are not qualified enough? Then you think you can't support us enough? An empowered woman indeed empowers her children.
Anytime we met as members of the Gender Committee, we asked about this bill and we are told it's in Cabinet. Another time, oh, it's moved from Cabinet to the Ages Department. Another time from Ages Department, it's gone back to Cabinet. And there's a need for us to meet with the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection and to ask her about where they have gotten to with the bill. But I don't see this if Parliament passing the bill. Yes, in the sense that we also have to push very hard. And no in the sense that, looking at this Parliament, we have 40 women and 235 men. And so some of the things when you are pushing is a bit difficult. You hardly see women on that level of decision making, even within Parliament. One day I was actually speaking about the fact that when contributions are being made on the floor, there should be an intentional and deliberate effort to make sure that after a man speaks, a woman should speak. After budget reading, after State of the Nation, when a man speaks, a woman should speak. Then we'll begin to see the impact, and we'll begin to see that women will shine more than we are seeing now. We'll begin to appreciate the perspective of women, because after all, when we talk about the adult population, you're talking about women being a higher population.
Now, residents of North Ahinkofikrom in the Second Takrady metropolis of the Western region say they are living in fear following the invasion of reptiles, particularly pythons, in the area. The pythons said to be hiding in abandoned quarry pits enter households to feed on their livestock. Western Regional Correspondent Pa Kojo Peters has more.
There are 2 abandoned quarry pits in the area full of stagnant water. According to the residents, these abandoned pits now serve as a breeding place and safe haven for the pythons. They often invade households at night to feed on the livestock. The Wilson family is a victim. Their once full cage is now empty. All the animals have been eaten by the pythons.
We live in fearful moments. You have kids around, you have relatives, you have got wives, you've got a whole lot of friends around. We are pleading. We are calling on the chiefs. We are calling on the assembly. We are calling on the government. All stakeholders involved.
They are not alone.
It is very dangerous to human life, because when you look at the setup, as you can see for yourself, yeah, it is very bushy, and the pit is also very deep. If we don't close that pit, with time, I think we'll have a lot of them around.
Kasim Mingle Bema is the assemblyman for Ketani electoral area.
We cannot wait for something to happen before we come and stand. Otherwise, people will not be happy with us. Especially when I came, a lot of them who lives around were showing me how big the snake that they've been seeing is.
Further investigations by the news team has revealed that there are over 16 of such abandoned clay and quarry pits scattered across the western region, with a total area damage of about 33,000 hectares. George Diewu is the Western Regional Director of the Environmental Protection Agency.
I have been in talk with the STMA, particularly Environmental Management Department, Mr. Hudu. What we're planning of doing is to control the reptiles, okay, because there are reptiles everywhere. But for the years, maybe it's a unique case.
Now to issues on rail transportation, and Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Yao Osu, has said that there's a need for diverting some of the rail lines, especially in the Ashanti region, due to heavy encroachment. He was addressing the media in Kumasi.
Massive encroachment on rail lines is a common spectacle in parts of the Ashanti region. One of the usual scrambles turned bloody on Tuesday, July 18. A private developer clashed with the Ascori Mampong Assembly. The result, ugly. Reacting to the development, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Yao Osu, said people are taking undue advantage over the inactivity of some rail lines.
Land, remember, the railway industry has been defunct for a long time. It has been left idle, and people thought railway was never coming back. So therefore, they took undue advantage to build within the corridors or the right of way. All right. So, for example, the railway line coming from Accra to Kumasi, because of the heavy encroachment at Alaba and Abuabo, chances are we may have to take what you call the branch line, okay, or what you call realignment. So the train will be coming from Accra. It may end up in Ejuso. And then we have to do new acquisition from Ejuso to Edwardin. Edwardin is also on the western line. So that will be the new focal point because of the heavy encroachment. Otherwise, you may have to destroy thousands and thousands of structures from Doom Station to Alaba to Abuabo to Tech. or to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Okay, so that is where we are now. We may have to do realignment of the line because of heavy encroachment.
Now, the founder and head of the Leprosy Aid Board, Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, has urged Ghanaians to help cure lepers and the socially excluded. He said that the committee could no longer provide for the welfare and medical needs of the cured lepers without external support. Ghana has 6 leprosaria spread across 6 regions with a current inmate population of 1,195. The Weja Leprosarium in the Greater Accra region is regarded as the headquarters and has 25 residents, including a 3-year-old baby. The government social intervention package for 30 cedis per month or 1 cedi a day per inmate has compelled these cured lepers to continue to beg for alms towards their daily welfare and healthcare needs. Not even the establishment of the Lepers AIDS Committee by Reverend Andrew Campbell over 3 decades ago is able to reduce the plight of cured lepers in Ghana. This is because not much public support has been given to the goal of the committee. The cured lepers are always and only rarely remembered on occasions by a few groups and individuals.
For the past years, we've been helping Ho, Kokofu, Nkachina, Wa, and Ankofu, and letting them know when they know this, touch their hands and touch their heart and touch their pocket. We must help them. Those of us who are well, those of us who are strong, those of us who have something, we must share it with others. God has given all of us gifts, so we can easily share it with others. It might be just something small or something big, whatever it might be, you know, because Mother Teresa was asked once, well, what you're doing is like a drop of water in the ocean. And Mother Teresa says, the ocean is better off for that drop of water.
The constitution of the Lepers Aid Board and Council of Co-workers and Friends is to help change the narrative.
Now that we have this group together, we'll be meeting together and planning in the future. What can we do? With the friends and co-workers, we'll have our general meeting soon, and we'll see the way for what can we do to touch people's lives and be able to help them. Every Christmas we have a concert. So we'll be organizing our concert and to get more and more people to come and donate and let people know what is happening. Because many people don't even know at time that Weja Leprosarium exists. They don't know. They don't know that every year over 250 new cases of leprosy in Ghana. They don't know that.
Reverend Father Andrew Campbell urged all to be everyone's keeper, irrespective of social, political, and religious status. Now, on the international front, some 40 countries have expressed interest in joining the BRICs group of fast-developing economies made up of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This comes as the bloc gears up for a summit in South Africa in August. Now, the BRICs has positioned itself as an alternative to the Western-dominated global order. Current BRICs chair, South Africa, is hosting the 3-day meeting in Johannesburg next month and says BRICS expansion will be high on the agenda. Now, Argentina, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates are among the countries looking to join. BRICS now accounts for 31.7% of global GDP, having overtaken the G7, a forum of advanced democracies that includes the U.S. Except for Russian President Vladimir Putin, who cannot travel to South Africa because he is wanted by an international court from war crimes in Ukraine, all BRICS heads of states will be attending the summit in person next month. And that's all for the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Awatche Tando. But of course, Adjoana Willa is with me in the studio with the rest of New Day. Hi, Adjoa. Good morning.
Hi, Judith. I love your outfit.
Thank you. I love it.
Is it purple? Is it, you know, it looks like you're doing a purple thing.
It's like, it's actually blue-black.
Blue, oh.